Well, I mean, we got a run off Trevino. Then when Robleski came in, he pitched great. I mean, he moved the ball around, up, down, in, out. He's got some deception to him. He's got a good mid to upper 90s fastball, a good cutter. So he pitched really well.
Vivian, that was your call for Drew to lay the sacrifice down, and what happened just for him not being able to come through?
That was my call, yeah, and he just didn't get it down. Then I took it off 3-2, and the guy made a good pitch.
Matt, you'll be obviously right on to Seattle. What will your sort of takeaway be from this weekend, not having the lively bats the last couple of days, but having this today? What's the feeling you'll have overall from it?
Disappointment. I mean, we lost today. You know, we were trying to win a series. It's been a few series since we've done that, so I'm disappointed.
Any encouragement to be taken from the last couple of days? I mean, you're feeling this right now, but I mean, in a broader sense, do you feel like, okay, we see that still in there, and there's?
Oh, we know that's in there. I mean, these guys are good baseball players. We're in a rut. Every team goes through something like this. This is prolonged for us. We're not hiding from that. We need to do this more consistently to stack wins together, and that's why it's disappointing today that we didn't.
You've had trouble following up a big scoring game with kind of anything the next day. Is that maybe a next step for you to like string together at least a couple games?
We want to do that every day, right? It doesn't matter if we have a low scoring game. We want to score a bunch the next day. We want to score a bunch of runs every day. It's tough to do, right? I'm sitting here telling you we got to be better at it.
Yeah, the bottom of the Dodgers lineup was the one that did the most damage today. I just curious what you make of that, on both sides from their perspective and maybe from.
Yeah, I mean, Kike hit a home run on a changeup. He went down and got that. Muncie's hitting at the bottom of their order. He's a pretty good hitter in the big leagues for a long time now. So they have a deep lineup, and we didn't pitch effectively to them in the spots that we needed to.
And we talked about this yesterday with the top of the order coming through quite a bit today. The first India with combined. I mean, that's what it's going to take, right, to get this thing going, the offense clicking.
It's certainly going to help, but like we said, you know, you just mentioned what they did at the bottom of the order. Our bottom of the order guys get the same opportunity to hit that theirs do. They get 3-4 at bats every game, and they're equally capable of producing. We've seen that from our guys as well.
When you're struggling at home as you did this month, is there ever any sense that going out on the road can provide a different setting, a boost for you at all?
We love playing here. We haven't played well here. You know, that's obvious. That, you know, it hasn't been fun for us. It hasn't been fun for our fans. We're going to try to do everything we can for the fans that follow us on the road, to watch us on TV. We're going to play better baseball. It doesn't matter where we go.
Well, it hasn't been very good at home. Maybe it'll be better on the road. That was disappointing because they had over 90,000 fans this weekend, 35, 36, 28 yesterday. And like I said, there's Dodger fans out there because they're like a nationwide team, and they won the World Series last year, and Ohtani's global, you know, Mookie Betts. They got a lot of guys on that team. But there were a lot of Royals fans out there as well to watch. Maybe they watched the Dodgers, maybe to watch the Royals, whatever. Disappointing to play that way and to lose two of those, but they had not won a home game, as you'd mentioned before, so they got one.
Yes, they won a game at home in June. They accomplished that feat. Let's take a break. We'll be right back after this on WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll talk to Pete Sweeney at 7:05. We're going to talk to Missouri State Senator Curtis Gregory and former Mizzou offensive lineman Curtis Gregory at 7:30 about the stadiums.
Oh, the stadiums?
Unless you want me to ask him about the Mizzou-Kansas game coming up and who he thinks the quarterback's going to be.
Nah, he may know. He may know.
Whatever.
He may. Ask him about
I'm not going to take any more of your criticism about that.
schools. If he's got any fun memories of playing Kansas.
I bet he does.
I'm just saying.
We'll also talk to Scott Carroll, former Major League pitcher, Liberty native, and regular guest on New Day with SSJ.
We could ask him about the Missouri-Kansas game. See what he thinks.
Well, why would I ask Scott Carroll about that?
You don't think a Missouri kid would care about that?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Only
He
one way to
went
find
to
out.
he went to Purdue and Missouri
Missouri
State,
State.
so I don't know. I'd have to.
He's a true son, though, of Missouri. Where does he live? Missouri.
Does he?
I don't know. I assume so.
You know what? Quit assuming things. I said that's why I call him Liberty native. I don't know if he's living there now.
Let's get his address out there on the air. We'll go through that like we did with Dieter last week.
Jack Johnson is running the board for the next 2 days. So periodically we'll check in with him and get his thoughts.
Have you received any DMs from Alex Zumwalt in the
Right.
last 5 minutes?
Not yet.
Too negative about the Royals in this hour? Or how do you feel?
I'd say it's fair. It all has to be fair. You've won one game in the month of June. So how can you spin it positively when you've gone from being a half game back last Saturday to now 4.5 games back in the fourth worst record in the American League? Can't spin it anyway in a positive manner.
Doesn't feel like a wild card team, does it?
No.
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 Long season, though.
If you had to bet, Jack, what do you think they're going to do before the trade deadline?
Right now, you have to be contemplating selling. I mean, you've got a piece like Seth Lugo, who's likely going to test the free agent market, probably get around the deal that Nathan Eovaldi got. Do the Royals want to pay that? Maybe they do, but you also saw last year with Detroit, they sold Jack Flaherty.
And bring him back!
And bring him back if you wanted to, but they really only have this West Coast road trip to put themselves back into the conversation. Because after Seattle and Arizona, you come back for Pittsburgh and the Mets, and then you have the All-Star break. But if you go win 1 or 2 games on the West Coast road trip, and now you're 8 to 9 games under 500, no, technically the season's not over, but you're probably staring down the barrel of being 6.5, 7 games back of a playoff spot. I'm not sure how you can convince everyone out there that you would still be a buyer, because maybe you go the route of we're selling but also adding pieces for the now and for the future. But, yeah, they don't really have much time left in the first half to really convince people before July 31st that this team is seriously buying and try to put themselves back into contention.
Hey, like you could make a trade and acquire something that can help you right now. Just redistribute your assets. And I wouldn't be totally against that. What if they could get an outfielder they think they could help in the second half for Lugo and a prospect? Would you say no to that?
I think their biggest problem is that they don't score enough runs, so I would rather see that. They could figure out the pitching. I mean, but you would make yourself worse. But there could be more pitching with this organization in the minors that you could try.
They could bring up Dick Mountain.
Say again.
What?
Come again?
Buster has called him that on the show, and so is Jamie Bloom. What do you get mad at me? Buster only said it. That's what Rich Hill is known as in Major League clubhouses.
Yes.
He's pitching a lot of them. They call him Dick Mountain. Rich Hill?
Yes. Shouldn't he go by Dickie Mountain? Is that what Dickie Lovelady's doing?
What was when they did the jerseys where they got to pick?
Yeah.
He put Dick Mountain on the back of his jersey.
Why not?
And he's been pitching pretty well at AAA. He's been doing all right.
What's Kyle Wright doing?
No,
right
everything's
now?
a joke to you.
It's not a joke
Kyle
to me.
Wright.
No. No.
What else? What other questions do you have for me?
Well, the question is, who's going to give you an outfielder? That's the other one. Who's selling?
They don't have to sell.
No, who is selling that you could get something from? That's
Cubs.
what are they going to give you?
Dodgers.
Who?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers are going to sell?
Are you listening to me? They have
They have too much.
a plethora of outfield possibilities where they need a pitcher. So they're not selling.
They just have a
They
overabundance.
need more pitching.
Yeah, they got more than they can handle.
It fits. It fits. Tell him. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Dodgers this weekend. They had Ohtani, although Ohtani's still getting built back up, but they won the bullpen game yesterday. They have a plethora of injuries. They could use someone like Seth Lugo, who, by the way, threw 5 2/3 shutout on Saturday.
Right in their face.
Audition!
It's a great time to look into that because the Dodgers, not that saying you need to get 18 and 19-year-olds, but there's plenty of guys that are blocked. I mean, the Cubs have, Alcantara as well, who's, number 2, number 3 guy in their system, 6'5" outfielder. They're another team that need to put the chips in because the National League, that's a bloodbath over there. Everybody knows they need starting pitching to make it to the very end. And
Bloodbath.
Seth Lugo's a top 6 free agent, I believe, that Jeff Passan and Kylan McDaniel had out there. So they're going to have one of the top trade chips.
Tell Leabo about Boston pitching prospect Richard Fitz.
Dick Fitz, Dick Mountain.
I don't make this stuff up. I just report it. I didn't make it up that Richard Lovelady asked to be called Dickie Lovelady.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that Richard Fitz from the Boston Red Sox, I think in the clubhouse, they're probably calling him Dick Fitz.
You think so?
I would. Would you?
Yes.
If we hired a guy here named Richard Fitz, what do you think I'm going to call him?
You would call him Dick Fitz or Dickie Fitz.
All right. Jack, I know that's off topic, but do you agree or not?
I guess it depends on the status of this person. I mean, I know my place at this studio, I don't really have the pull to call somebody that unless
poll?
it was
Sure
an
you do.
intern.
He doesn't have the pole.
I don't have the pull. There
Or
we go.
pole. Or the pole. I thought
I
you said
got
pole.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
really excited he was up, then they sent him back down, then they called him back up.
You got
I
excited
follow
with the up
Richard-
and down
yes.
of Dick Fitz?
I follow Richard Fitz.
The rise and fall of Dick
Yes,
Fitz? Is it time to end this hour?
No.
I think it is.
We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHP. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John, Todd Leabo, Jack Johnson, Deebs, who you in the hallway, how you doing? That's not his name around here. He put in an official request. He filed the paperwork because that's when we know that someone's been accepted. Then we call him like when I explained to you. Like if someone was here named Richard Fitz, then once I accept him and I like him, I call him Dick Fitz. See?
Dick Fitz.
Get on board, dude.
Yeah.
You've been Deebs for several weeks. And
Noted.
You know what? You're in Canada, and then you're in,
Here?
You're in Louisiana.
I was in Louisiana.
In my mind, you were. Let's say hello to Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride. Hello, Pete. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to have Todd back. I think we missed him last week during mandatory minicamp, so I'm happy he's back.
Did it feel like something was missing when you were out there? Really?
Well, I mean, the usual ingredients were there, but we were missing our zest, which usually is Todd and what he brings to the table.
I come over and say silly things during practice.
Yeah, we did miss our zest, and so we're happy he's back now.
I come over and I'll just say something dumb.
It does feel like, but like in the media gatherings afterwards, it feels like there's no straw to stir the drink. How about that? Is that right?
Yeah, like some of the alcohol's like at the bottom, and you just need that little shake or something, and we didn't have it, and so I'm glad that he's back. He's getting ready for training camp. We'll be all set.
You just nailed it. Your nickname now, Cover the Cheese, the Little Shake.
Yeah.
The little shake. I would rather be the straw that stirs the drink.
The straw.
Like
He's the one that called you the Little Shake.
like Reggie Jackson. No, I'm the little shake. Hey, here's the deal.
Oh man, that's good.
Steven's
Pete.
going up week 1.
Yeah,
So he's going to have to be the little shake.
I'm gonna get after it.
Yeah, you are.
Sure, I will. Yeah.
You're going to get after it. You're going to go up there to Scanlon Hall and get after it on a Sunday afternoon.
I'm gonna welcome. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna welcome football with open arms. I want football to run and jump with my arms. I'm gonna lift it up off the ground and hold it.
With that 5 o'clock Sunday arrival, I think maybe, is there room at the Stony Creek for Pete?
Sure.
To come into the Bear Den with you?
All we gotta do is talk to our reservations coordinator, Gabe Boucher, and he'll handle that seamlessly.
Yeah.
Really nice continental breakfast up there.
Pete, you want in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be great.
The way I look at it now, 5 o'clock arrival. Who do you think we'll talk to on that Sunday? Andy Reid, and you think they'll give us any players?
Yeah, typically Mahomes will talk at the first press conference. It might be a little bit different this year just because everyone's arriving on the same day. So I mean that might come a day later, but typically they'll provide us some of the team leaders on that first thing when we report. So we'll see.
Yeah, they I'm assuming the report day is like by bed check, basically. So he may or may not be up there at 5 o'clock. That's how they've kind of changed that over the years. They're like, I will give you a few guys, and they're like, these guys, some won't be here till 8 o'clock at night. So Patrick's generally been there, but he's had to be there for the rookie part of it. So I don't know. They've not promised that on the
This
email.
is gonna be different. This is different.
It's all different.
Because there's no 3-day lead up when all the quarterbacks and rookies and players recovering from injury show up 3 days before the rest of the team. Now everyone gets here at the same time. Do you like that, Pete?
I think it's good for this particular team. And when you've had a lot of these guys that have played really long and deep into January and February for so many years. I mean, I think Mahomes even deserves an extra week rather than having to come in and work with the rookies. It was from a roster standpoint and again, just a time spent standpoint. I do like the decision to push it ahead. I mean, this team's played a lot of football, and I think giving it an extra week is a bonus when just the offseason's become so tight because of usually playing in the last game and then playing one of the first games of the year.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Your family, are they Mets fans? Yeah, or Yankees?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Yankees or Mets?
It would be the Yankee side for the Sweeney family, yeah.
ask you if the Mets have killed your will, like what's happening to you.
Have the Royals killed your will, Pete?
I went. It was a great weekend, and I went actually to the game on Saturday.
I was out there Saturday.
Yeah, I was in there. I was out there, and I think the key to the Royals' success is when I maybe placed a small wager on the opposing team, because my God, it was like the greatest performance I've ever seen of the Royals this year, and I had a Dodgers -1.5 ticket on Saturday, so that was good.
Pete, I usually don't ask you about this topic, but we're going to have State Senator Curtis Gregory on the show in the next segment. And, you know, we all saw the letter from Mark Donovan that he sent to the state of Kansas.
Yeah, the Kansas legislature. It's the KLL or whatever. It's the legislative thing. They have a meeting coming up next week where they're going to talk about extending the SAR bond.
And so it went from, it seemed like several people that are in the know were telling Leabo, look, it looks very good that the Chiefs are going to stay home and renovate Arrowhead. They're not going to go anywhere. And then you get this letter. Leabo has a very unique way of describing what the letter was. But the letter that was, boy, it sounded like, if you read it, the Chiefs sure are eager to move to the state of Kansas, but also it can be looked upon as just a formality and giving them leverage as they continue their discussions with the Missouri side. And so after all of this has happened over the past week, what's your best guess? What do you think the Chiefs end up playing for the long term?
Yeah, and again, I think there are some things surrounding the team where I feel like, you know, I'm talking to people in the building about, and just to be clear, this particular one is more so my opinion of just kind of how it's gone. I mean, no data really for me, so I just want to make that clear. But I think ever since the vote went a certain way, I think a lot of the signs just continue to point to them moving and having a state-of-the-art stadium and a dome and opening the door for certain events that they can't do now. And really, I think the grand event is the Super Bowl. And I just think with Arrowhead, no matter what you did renovation-wise, you know, it's never going to suddenly be a dome stadium. And I think that's been the Todd Leabo little shake, where you have to kind of have that part of it. And I think, look, again, this is just me viewing it the way. I think after the vote went a certain way, I think Clark Hunt and the Hunt family can feel like, okay, we tried to get it done at Arrowhead in Missouri, in Dad's place, so on and so forth. And now you can turn the attention to, like, what is best for the business. And, you know, I think eventually what's going to win out is Kansas. And for me, this was a sign, like, we need a little bit more time to just make sure that this is really what we want to do. And I think it's only a move you make if you're really seriously considering going across state line.
I think at this point, both